Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my review of the 2001 anime Metropolis. Now, before I get around to sharing more of my thoughts on this film, I want to give a special shout out to a couple people. First off, I want to give a shout out yet again to Will for requesting this anime. And if there's another anime review, TV show, film, or topic that you would like to see me cover in the future, feel free to donate to my PayPal. The link will be in the video description down below. And the other person I want to give a shout out to is a longtime friend of mine, Jonathan, for sending me this DVD a while back. And this came out on Blu-ray, but I'm fine with having this on DVD because I honestly really think this is a cool DVD set because of the way that it's presented. I mean, you got this cool little fold out with Rock there, and then with Tima. And then you also have another fold out here that shows the city of Metropolis. And then what's really cool, well, I mean, all of this is cool, but one of the coolest things about this set for me is the fact that disc 2, the special features disc, is a mini disc. And it really reflects the futuristic landscape and setting of the movie. Yeah. There was a time in the early 2000s where mini discs were considered to be the future of home video, as well as home audio, but that didn't happen, as we can see. But I thought that was a really cool addition to throw a mini disc in there for disc 2. But when it comes to the movie itself, I liked it. I didn't love the movie. I definitely disagree with Roger Ebert, where he says it's like the best anime movie he's ever seen. Like, there's other really crazy quotes from other filmmakers that are just praising this immensely that I think is a little much. I mean, James Cameron saying it's a new milestone in anime. It has beauty, power, mystery, and above all, heart. Images from this film will stay with you forever. Like, I don't know about that. That's really high praise. But it's a film that definitely does have some nice imagery. And that's the biggest selling point for me when it comes to this movie, is the visuals are vivid and stunning and spectacular. The animation in this film is amazing. The world that the animators created is one of a kind and just a total joy to look at and take part in. And that's the big reason why I liked it, is because of just how impressive this film was visually. It was a definite treat. I like the way that they mixed in traditional hand-drawn animation with some CGI in a way that was really unique and cool. Even though some of the CGI was a bit dated, it was still something that was really unique. It definitely stood out when it comes to animation from the time. And it still stands out to this day. It really had this very otherworldly quality to it. It's very surreal. And it definitely did help the film pop when it comes to its visuals. Another thing that definitely helped the movie pop visually is the direction by Rintaro. I thought Rintaro did an absolutely remarkable job with this movie. The direction in this is some of the finest that I've seen when it comes to an anime movie. I mean, I think it's right up there with some of the work I've seen in films like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, or Paprika, or Porco Rosso, or Fist of the North Star, those kind of things. It's just a really great bit of animation direction. It ebbs and flows in ways that are really cool and just very collected and not chaotic in any way, despite the fact that this is a movie that has so many different things going on at once in front of the screen and in the background. I think he handled the tone of the story well, and brought a lot of heart to the film when it comes to just the spirit that it's trying to have during selected sequences. And when it comes to the action sequences, when they are there, they're really fun to watch because they are shot in a way that just provides the right amount of emphasis when it comes to the suspense or the thrills or the excitement. And it's a wonder to behold the movie. And a big reason for that is because of Rintaro. Now, the screenplay, on the other hand, by Katshurio Otomo, I probably butchered his first name. My bad. Apologize for that. I'm probably going to do that multiple times throughout this video. Um, the script, which is based on a manga of the same name by Osamu Tezuka, this is what I would call a pretty meh screenplay. The film has dazzling visuals that definitely do resonate with you, but the script and the characters don't resonate on the same level. And that's why the film's a little disappointing, is because of the fact that you have such amazing visuals, but you don't have a story and characters in terms of the depth that is really on the same level of quality as these just stunning, breathtaking visuals. And that's a shame. I think it tries a little too hard to be like Fritz Lang's Metropolis. I know the original writer of the manga said he never saw Metropolis. He only saw a still photo of the robot Maria before he wrote the manga, but I don't buy that. There are so many similarities to this story and Fritz Lang's Metropolis that it's really hard to to make that argument, if you ask me. Both stories deal with the working class, where in this film it's machines and humans who are being taken advantage of, but it's still very similar. So you have the working class who are slaves to the big corporations and the rich proletariat, and it leads to an uprising, and there is a mysterious robot girl who is also involved in the plot and is a key cog in the machine. It's one of those things where there are differences. Tima is definitely a different kind of character than Maria, for instance, but there are still a lot of key similarities, and I know the screenwriter for this anime took even more from Fritz Lang's Metropolis than from the manga, and that just makes it even more obvious. And I don't think it really does the film favors, reminding you of such a masterpiece that is Fritz Lang's Metropolis. Also, I think it tries to be too big. I appreciate the fact that it tried to go for broke and it tried to be big and grand, but I think this film is at its best when it's just focusing on the dynamic between characters, when it's focusing on the building and budding connection between Tima and Kenichi, or when it comes to the other scenes with Kenichi's uncle, who is working alongside this robot detective. Like that's really where the film shines for me, is in those kind of sequences. Or even like just a scene where Tima and Kenichi are befriending this trash robot. Like that was a really heartwarming and strong scene. Just having them share screen time with this trash robot that has a heart of gold and is just trying to help them out and be kind to them. And I that's really the stuff that stands out to me, not necessarily the big bombastic climax where the city's exploding and Tima is a part of this big giant machine that's at the top of the ziggurat that is powered by the sun. It's that stuff just wasn't as effective to me as the smaller scenes that just felt more real and felt more special and genuine. Also, I had more suspense when it comes to Kenichi and Tima having to survive on the streets and stay one step ahead of Rock, who is the head of this paramilitary squad, which is trying to uh, hunt Tima down and kill her. Honestly, I think you could have just taken out Duke Red and just had it be Rock who's trying to hunt Tima down, and then have the film end with Kenichi and his uncle finding a way to stop Rock and saving Tima, and then in the process overthrowing Duke Red with the help of the revolution. You know, the help of the humans who decide to band together to take down Duke Red. And you could have the humans get help from the robots that are being taken advantage of, the service robots who decide to team up with the humans to take down Duke Red and the Ziggurat. Like, I think that's all you really needed. You didn't need like this big giant machine and Tima is controlled by it, and now she's just a part of this machine. She's just a cog in this bigger machine, and Kenichi has to pull her out of it, and the whole ziggurat collapses and explodes, and Tima dies. Like, you didn't really need all of that. Like, you could have had Tima die, but like in a way that just felt a little bit more satisfying, like a heroic sacrifice or something. It's just one of those things where I just didn't really find the whole stuff with Duke Red and his plans to be as engaging as just the smaller, more human aspects of this story. Also, the robot detective guy, they wasted that character really badly. Like, that was a total waste. The screenwriter had that guy set up. It was a cool little quirky character. Seemed like that character would have more to do throughout the film, and then he just gets gunned down during the failed attempt to take over the ziggurat, and it's just used as a bit of just cheap subtext. And I just feel that was a waste of that character. I liked that character. It was a cool character, had a nice look to it, and they just killed that character off. And I just didn't feel that was really warranted. I don't even if that was in the manga, like you're making a lot of changes anyway to things, so you could have easily made it so he survived, and maybe he's the key reason as to why the other robots decide to team up with the humans to take down Duke Red and the Ziggurat. And it's just one of those movies where it does suffer from some pacing problems because of the fact that you're just not engaged with the plot consistently, and the characters also don't help because Tima and Kenichi, like, I like the whole dynamic between the two, but them as characters, they're not very deep, and neither is really anyone else, other than maybe Rock, surprisingly enough, because of the whole relationship he has with his father and how it's very strained, and then it leads to him going against his father's wishes and then being essentially disowned by his father, and you get a bit of drama there. But when it comes to the other characters, there's really not a lot of depth there, so it makes it so there's not really a ton of reasons to really care about them on a deeper level. But, you know, despite those issues, the script, like I said, it's not bad. To me, it's just mediocre. It's just there. If the characters had a little more depth, if the plot was more consistently engaging, then I think that definitely would have helped this movie be a lot better, at least in my eyes, and make the visuals feel a little less empty, because the visuals are just amazing, but they don't really have the staying power that they initially could have if the script was stronger. The film also features some nice cinematography by Hitoshi Yamaguchi. Cinematography in animation is very different than film cinematography, but it wasn't like there were moments where the cinematographer's vision was drastically different from Rintaro's. So that was definitely a positive. It wasn't distracting in that regard. And there are some really nice looking shots in this film when it comes to the cinematography as well as the direction just blending together. Um, and I think the cinematography in anime, a lot of it is just shot framing and lighting. And this has some of the most impressive lighting that I've seen in an anime, at least from what I've seen to date. There's some really impressive looking shots in that regard in this movie. Um, the music is by Toshiyuki Honda, and the score is decent enough. I wouldn't call it particularly memorable, but it fits the film well. I would say the most memorable bit of music is a American song that was used for the finale when the ziggurat is collapsing. Uh, they use "I Can't Stop Loving You" by Ray Charles, and it was a really somber, sweet song, and I felt it actually fit the scenes of destruction rather well, and added a little bit extra weight to those scenes. So yeah, I would say that was definitely the biggest standout moment when it comes to anything music related. The film is like 113 minutes, and it does kind of drag a little bit, especially near the end of it. And when it comes to the voiceover work, once again, I went with the English dub. I think this is a pretty good English dub. You have Brienne Siddall, who voiced Kenichi, Rebecca Forstadt, who voiced Tima, Tony Pope, he voiced Shinsaku Ban. You had Michael Rice, who voiced Rock. But yeah, Tony Pope is a guy that people might recognize. He's voiced a lot of different characters in different anime and different animation. Uh, he, yeah, he was a voice of. He's been a voice of a lot of video game characters as well. Yeah, he was the voice of Goofy for 11 years. I believe he was the voice of Goofy in the Goofy movie. Maybe. I could be wrong. No, he was the voice of Goofy for 11 years, but I don't think he was the voice of in the Goofy movie. I think that was somebody else. But yeah, he did a lot of voiceover work. And he's definitely a guy that animation fans might recognize. So you also had Duke Red, voiced by Jameson Price, and a few other like characters. And the voiceover work, it wasn't bad at all. In fact, it was some of the better English dub work that I've heard. I also watched a few scenes with the original Japanese voice actors, and it's kind of hard to really, for me personally, to say which one is significantly better, because I didn't really find the Japanese voiceovers to be hands down above the English dub when it comes to the overall quality. But it just makes it so whatever version of the film you choose to watch, the Japanese dub with the English subtitles or the English dub, you're still going to get some decent, solid voiceover work. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about Metropolis, except it's definitely a film that I would recommend, even to people who aren't like big fans of anime. Like, I'm not what you would consider to be a huge anime connoisseur, but it's a genre that I'm definitely getting more into because of just how incredible the visuals can be. Like, there are moments of just visual splendor that are just absolutely stupendous in this movie, and those are enough for me to recommend it to anybody. So if you want to see a piece of animation that will just dazzle your eyeballs, but doesn't really have like the strongest or the best story, I would recommend watching this at least once, just for the eye candy. And who knows, maybe you might find the story and characters to be stronger than I did. I know a lot of critics felt that way about this movie, and I know there's a lot of other people who find it to be an equally strong film when it comes to its animation compared to the story and its characters. So that's all good and well too. But anyway, thanks for watching my review, and as always, I'll see you later. See ya.